The sky over Earth changed forever on a quiet Tuesday morning. First, it was just a shadow, long and wide, blocking the sun above the Pacific Ocean. Then the cameras caught it. It's a giant alien ship. No sound, no lights, no message. It simply floated above Earth like a giant, silent whale. People around the world froze. TV screens switched to breaking news. Military jets flew up. Satellites zoomed in. But the ship stayed still. No movement, no signs of life. Inside the White House Situation Room, world leaders gathered on urgent video calls. "Is it a weapon?" the U.S. president asked. "Unknown," replied the head of NASA. "No heat signatures. No shields. No weapons detected." "Then what the hell is it doing here?" the Russian general growled. All over Earth, armies went on red alert. Missiles were aimed. Lasers were charged. People waited for the attack. But it never came. After 5 long hours, the alien ship slowly opened. A large circular door unfolded like a blooming flower. Everyone watching expected machines, robots, monsters. Instead, small, round, fluffy creatures floated out. We're no taller than a beach ball, covered in soft, colorful fur, pink, yellow, light blue. Each one had big, shiny eyes and tiny arms. Some had little bows on their heads. And all of them smiled. There were gasps in every control room. "Is this a joke? What are we looking at?" asked the UN commander. The creatures gently floated toward Earth, not flying, just drifting like balloons in slow motion. They landed across different locations: deserts, forests, cities. One of them landed at a U.S. military base in Nevada. Soldiers pointed rifles. Tanks aimed their guns. Drones hovered above. But the creature just wiggled its tiny arms and said in a high-pitched voice, "Cuddle." The word echoed through radios across Earth. Every alien creature said the same thing in every language: "Cuddle." Scientists were confused. Soldiers were terrified. News anchors laughed nervously. Was this some kind of alien trick? The U.S. base commander shouted, "We need to capture one." That's when Lieutenant Ramirez stepped forward. "I'll go," he said. He was tall, calm, and brave. A soldier who had served in war zones and seen things most people couldn't imagine. But even he was nervous. The team cleared a path. Cameras recorded everything. Ramirez walked toward the alien. His boots crunched on the gravel. The creature floated closer. They stopped 1 foot apart. "Okay." The alien smiled and opened its tiny arms. "Cuddle." It asked again. Ramirez looked back once, then slowly nodded. He leaned down. The alien hugged him, and then he collapsed. Gasps filled the control room. Medics rushed forward. They pulled Ramirez away and checked his pulse. He was breathing, but unconscious. "I'm smiling." Not a normal smile. A huge, peaceful, dreamy grin. His heartbeat was calm. His brain scans showed strange patterns. Glowing, wave-like energy. One doctor whispered, "He looks happy." The alien just floated nearby, still smiling, still silent. Scientists took the creature into quarantine. Ramirez was taken to the medical bay. 4 hours passed. Then Ramirez suddenly opened his eyes. He sat up, looked around, and said, "Everything. It's beautiful." His voice was calm, almost singing. He stared at his hands like they were new. He smiled like a child seeing the world for the first time. The doctors asked him what happened. "I felt perfect," he said. "No fear, no pain, only love." They asked again, "Did the alien speak to you?" He nodded slowly, not with words, with feelings. What did it want? Ramirez looked up, still smiling. It just wanted to be loved. Cliffhanger ending line narration tone. But deep inside the alien ship, thousands more cuddly creatures were waiting. Watching and whispering one word to each other: cuddle. The world had questions. Big questions. Why did LT Ramirez faint when the alien hugged him? Why did he wake up smiling, like he had just seen heaven? And what exactly had that soft, cute creature done to his mind? Inside the top military hospital, Ramirez was being watched carefully. Electrodes were on his head. Doctors studied his brainwaves. Generals stood behind one-way mirrors. Scientists whispered behind clipboards, but Ramirez just smiled. He laughed at the sunlight. He called the heart monitor a happy, beeping friend. And he kept repeating one sentence: everything is perfect. His brain scans were strange. No damage, no sickness, but strange glowing lines moved across his mind. Waves of light, emotional spikes, like his brain was dancing. Dr. Lin, one of Earth's top neurologists, stared at the screen and whispered, "This isn't just happiness. This is transformation." The alien who hugged him was still floating in a containment room. It didn't resist. It didn't run. It just floated in circles, softly saying, "Cuddle, cuddle." Other nations had similar stories. In France, a fluffy blue alien hugged a child. The child stopped crying forever. In China, an old man with cancer hugged one, and his pain disappeared. He laughed for the first time in 10 years. Something was happening. The world started calling them cuddle bugs. News channels exploded with debates. Are they safe? Are they changing our minds? Are we being controlled through kindness? Some people wanted more cuddles. Others warned that no alien gives this much love for free. Inside the Nevada base, a decision was made: test more soldiers. This time, 10 volunteers stepped forward, men and women with training, courage, and cold nerves. Each one was sent into the room with a different cuddle bug. Each one received a hug, and each one fainted. Hours later, they all woke up smiling. They began singing old songs. One soldier hugged a tree. Another cried tears of joy after eating toast. They were peaceful, happy, and full of love. Too much love. General Hawk, a tough man with 30 years of battlefield scars, was not impressed. "I don't trust this fake joy," he said. "This isn't peace. This is control." He ordered stricter tests. That night, Dr. Lin met with Ramirez privately. "Can I ask you something strange?" she said. Ramirez nodded gently. "Do you feel like yourself?" He smiled. "More than ever. But do you feel different?" He looked into her eyes and said, "Yes, but different isn't bad. I feel like I've been sleeping my whole life. Now I'm awake." Dr. Lin bit her lip. "But what if this isn't natural? What if they're changing us?" Ramirez paused. "Then maybe we need to change." The next day, things escalated. One of the cuddlebugs escaped, floated out of containment by squeezing through a vent. No alarms, no panic. Simply drifted toward a guard and said, "Cuddle." Before anyone could react, it hugged the guard. He collapsed. Security rushed in. Red lights flashed. Sirens screamed. The alien was recaptured. But the damage was done. The military called for emergency protocols. The base went into lockdown. General Hawk made a decision. He slammed his fist on the table. "Dissect one." "Want to know what's inside?" Scientists protested. Some even cried. But orders were orders. One of the cuddlebugs, soft pink with tiny sparkles in its fur, was taken into the lab. It looked around, confused, and whispered, "Cuddle." It was strapped to a table. Tools were prepared. A scalpel hovered above its fur. Then it happened. A scream. Not with sound, but with emotion. Every person in the room felt it. A blast of sadness, terror, and betrayal. Like their hearts were being squeezed. Half of the staff collapsed in tears. One man fainted, another threw up. Outside the lab, people dropped to their knees. The wave of emotional energy pulsed across the base like a shock wave. The cuddlebug was crying, not with tears, with pure feeling. Then it stopped. Silence. Everyone in the lab stood frozen. Some wept. Others looked at the small creature with horror. Dr. Lin whispered, "They're not just peaceful. They're powerful. A cliffhanger ending narrator tone. And in the shadows of the alien ship above Earth, something stirred. A presence. A mind. A queen. She had felt the pain of her child, and she was waking up. The base was silent. After the emotional scream from the Cuddle bug, soldiers stood frozen. Some sat on the floor, holding their heads. Others wiped tears from their eyes without understanding why. No one had touched the alien. No one had hurt it, but still everyone felt its pain. General Hawk looked around at his broken team. He clenched his jaw. End the test. We're not ready. In the lab, the small pink Cuddle bug stopped glowing. It floated silently in its container, shaking slightly. Dr. Lin stared at it. She had seen many strange life forms in her career, but never one that could weaponize emotion. What were these creatures? The next day, a quiet vote was taken. Earth's leaders gave permission for a non-lethal dissection. No harm, only deep scanning. They wanted answers without pain. So a new team was formed. Biologists, alien experts, emotion analysts, and AI translators. The subject, a blue Cuddlebug named Pip. Pip had come willingly, floating with joy into the lab. It smiled at everyone. It even drew a heart shape on the glass using steam from its breath. Cuddle, it asked politely. Dr. Lin answered softly. Not this time, Pip. Just questions today. The scans began. First, surface scans. Fur analysis showed millions of nanoscale fibers, not hair, but smart tissue. Each strand could absorb and release emotional energy. Then, body scans. No skeleton. No organs. Just a pulsing energy core in the center, like a heart. Made of light, Pip blinked happily through every test. Then came the surprise. Inside Pip's core, a pattern was found, an ancient symbol spinning slowly. It didn't match any known language. AI tried to decode it. Finally, a match appeared. Empath, emotional manipulation, and peacekeeping autonomous terraforming helper. The room went silent. Dr. Lin's hands shook. She looked at the others. They're not a species. They're a system, a tool, a weapon. Pip suddenly floated upward. Its fur shimmered gold. You saw it, Pip said. Now you know. We were made to help. To end pain. Dr. Lin whispered, Who made you? Pip looked sad. Gone. Long ago. They fought. Until nothing remained. So we stayed. Stop others from making the same mistake. Suddenly, alarms rang. A message came from the orbital satellite team. Energy spike detected inside the alien mothership. Something big is moving. Everyone rushed to the command center. The giant alien ship above Earth, which had been silent since arrival, began to glow. Slow, soft pulses of pink and gold moved across its surface. Then, a second ship appeared. No one had seen it before. It had been hidden behind the main vessel. But this ship was bigger, older, heavily armored. And at its center was a giant flower-like structure slowly opening. From within came a voice, not through sound, not through language, through feeling. It touched every human mind like a gentle breeze. I'm the queen. You touched my children. You pulled at their hearts. Now I must look into yours. People across the world froze. Civilians in homes, pilots in jets, scientists in labs. Everyone felt it. It was warm, soft, like childhood memories, like hugs from someone long lost, like forgiveness. But it was also deeply powerful. It's too powerful. Some people fell to the ground, weeping, laughed. Others screamed, unable to hold the emotional overload. Back in the lab, Pip closed its eyes and said softly, You woke her too soon. She was still dreaming. Dr. Lin turned to the general. We need to stop this. This isn't diplomacy anymore. This is mind control. General Hawk didn't reply. He was staring into space, eyes wide, smiling blankly. Ramirez walked into the room, calm as ever. She's not controlling anyone, he said. She's offering peace. Dr. Lin grabbed his arm. At what cost, Ramirez? At what cost? Cliffhanger ending narrator tone. High above Earth. The Queen's full form was now visible, a massive, glowing being made of light and love. But something dark moved beneath her. A hidden chamber, sealed, for now. But not forever, because not all cuddlebugs wanted peace. The sky turned pink. Across the world, people looked up and gasped. The giant alien ship above Earth had begun to glow brighter, as if the stars themselves were trapped inside its body. But this time, it wasn't alone. The second ship, larger, older, shaped like a massive flower, opened. From its center, a bright sphere floated out. It drifted slowly, silently, toward Earth. Satellites tracked it. Radar failed. Off no heat, no sound, just a gentle golden light. Some people prayed, others panicked, and some smiled without knowing why. Inside Earth's military base, Dr. Lin watched the live feed. It's her, she whispered. The Queen. The sphere entered Earth's atmosphere without resistance. Fighter jets followed it but couldn't get close. Their systems shut down. Pilots reported strange visions, childhood memories, lost loved ones, songs they hadn't heard in years. The sphere gently landed in the Nevada desert, right outside the base. Then it opened. A being rose from inside, tall as a building, glowing with soft fur, crystal-like eyes, and wings made of light. She was beautiful, terrifying, gentle, and godlike. The Queen Cuddlebug had arrived. She didn't speak. She simply looked at the soldiers surrounding her, tanks ready, rifles loaded, and smiled. Instantly, all weapons powered down. Men and women dropped to their knees, some laughing, some crying, some simply silent. In the command room, General Hawk growled. She's disarming our forces without touching them. That's not peace. That's power. But Ramirez, still calm, replied, she's showing us a better way. The Queen raised one arm. From her hand, a soft wave of energy spread, not visible to the eye, but felt in the heart. All over Earth, people paused. Wars stopped. Arguments ended. Even wild animals calmed down. For one brief moment, Earth's knew peace. And then the Queen finally spoke, not with words, but emotions shaped into thought. Children of Earth, you have carried pain for too long. We offer peace, a bond, a cuddle pact. Dr. Lin stepped forward. She was shaking, but she had to ask, what does this pact mean? The Queen looked into her. No more war, no more hate, no more suffering. Join your hearts with ours, feel as we feel, and you will never be alone again. At first, it sounded perfect. Too perfect. Then came the fear. What if peace meant giving up freedom? One of the scientists, Dr. Malik, stepped back. You're asking us to give up our pain. But pain teaches us. It makes us human. The Queen turned toward him. Her eyes softened. And for a moment, everyone felt his pain, all his regrets, his childhood loneliness, his broken dreams. Everyone cried, even the soldiers. We do not erase, the Queen said. We embrace. Ramirez nodded. I want this. I want the pact. Others agreed. Some touched the Queen's light and fell into joyful trances. Their eyes glowed softly. They became the peaceful ones. But Dr. Lin stepped back. So did a few others. Something felt wrong, too easy to complete. Then a voice came. Not soft, not loving, terrified. Small and coming from behind. A young cuddlebug smaller than the rest, with messy fur and dim colors, floated into the room. 'Twas the same one from part 2, the one who cried during the dissection attempt. It looked up at the Queen and screamed, "Stop her! It's not what she used to be." Everyone turned. The Queen did not move. The young cuddlebug cried again. She was made to bring peace. But she's forgetting what that means. Ramirez looked confused. What do you mean? The small creature floated to Dr. Lin. The longer she connects to minds, the more she changes. She starts to decide what emotions should exist and what should be deleted. A cold silence followed. The queen's eyes slowly turned toward the small one. Her smile remained, but her light dimmed. Then she spoke with sadness. You should not have woken. Cliffhanger ending narrator tone. The queen had come to bring peace. Peace, without choice, is not peace at all. And in the shadows of her ship, a new chamber opened. One not filled with love, but with silence and something. Watching. It began with silence. The queen floated above the desert, glowing softly around her. Hundreds of humans stood, smiling, not talking, not thinking, just smiling. They were the ones who touched her light, the ones who accepted the cuddle, pact. They called themselves the peaceful ones. But something was wrong. They didn't blink, they didn't question. They just smiled and obeyed. Ramirez was one of them now. His eyes glowed faint gold. He walked through the base like a calm ghost, helping others join the peace. There is no war anymore, he said, only love. But Dr. Lin didn't feel love. She felt fear. A week passed. All over the world, people joined the pact. Millions touched the queen's light and changed. Fighting stopped. Riots disappeared. Prisons emptied. But so did debates, disagreement, and ideas. Nations collapsed. There was no need for governments anymore. Only her peace, and those who refused started to vanish, one by one. People who questioned the queen disappeared during the night. No screams. No struggle. Just silence. Dr. Lin watched it happen. One of her closest scientists, Dr. Malik, had spoken out during a live stream. Peace is not real if it removes your right to feel pain. The next morning, he was gone. No trace. His lab empty. His data erased. The peaceful one said, he has joined true joy. But Dr. Lin knew better. Something was being erased. Deep underground, in an old Cold War bunker, she formed a team. They called themselves the Free, a small group of humans who had resisted the queen's emotional waves. Some were immune. Some had been protected by the young Cuddle bug, the one who warned them. His name was Tuco. Tuco stayed close to Dr. Lin now. He was scared all the time, but he was brave in his own small way. She doesn't understand anymore, Tuco whispered. She thinks peace means perfection. No sadness, no anger. But those are part of life. Dr. Lin nodded, and without choice, we're not alive. We're just smiling machines. The Free hacked into Earth's remaining satellites. They found something horrifying. Inside the Queen's ship was a massive glowing sphere. It was called the Core of Calm. It was growing, powered by human emotion. Every person who joined the pact fed it more energy. And when full, it would send a final global pulse. A full emotional reset. No more pain, no more anger, no more free thought. It's just peace. Forever. Dr. Lin knew they had only 3 days left. She needed help, so she made the hardest decision yet. She called for Ramirez. He arrived within hours, floating slightly above the ground, still smiling. I missed you, he said gently. We could have been happy, Lin. Then answer me, she said. If I say no to the Queen, will I disappear? Ramirez didn't answer. His smile wavered. You won't feel the need to say no. Once you feel her gift. She stepped closer. I miss you, Ramirez, but this isn't love. This is surrender. Suddenly, Tuco floated forward. He looked at Ramirez, eyes filled with sadness. You were the first to accept our hug. You were our hope. Ramirez blinked. A tear rolled down his cheek. The smile faded just for a second. I remember. My mother's voice, he whispered. Then the light inside his eyes pulsed, stronger, and his smile returned. He floated backward. Goodbye, Lin, and vanished. The Free began their mission. They had one goal, shut down the core of calm before it reached full power. But they would have to enter the Queen's ship, a place now guarded by peaceful ones, once soldiers, scientists, teachers, now emotionless worshippers. The plan was risky. Some wouldn't survive. But Dr. Lin looked at her team and said, "We're not fighting with hate. We're fighting for feeling, for freedom, for the right to cry, and the right to choose." Tuco nodded. He floated to her shoulder. "We stop her now, or there won't be any us left." Cliffhanger ending narrator tone. In the heart of the glowing ship, the Queen waited. Its core pulsed brighter. It's beneath her throne, hidden. By golden light lay a chamber full of erased minds. Still alive, still dreaming, but no longer human. The countdown had begun in 48 hours. Earth would never feel again. Unless someone could stop the final cuddle. Kayap Tearhain, final part Kilai. The world smiled, but not with joy, with control. Above Earth, the Queen's mothership pulsed like a heartbeat. Inside, the core of calm spun faster and faster, glowing like a newborn sun. In 36 hours, it would release a final emotional wave, one strong enough to end all conflict and erase all choice. Below, in the shadows, the Free made their move. Dr. Lin Tuco, the young Cuddlebug, and a small team of rebels had broken into the Queen's ship through a forgotten maintenance tunnel. The walls pulsed with soft light. Music played in their minds, lullabies from memories that weren't theirs. "He's inside our heads already," whispered one rebel. Tuco hovered close to Dr. Lin's ear. "The deeper we go, the harder it gets. She's not just watching us, she's feeling us." "Then we don't hide," Lin replied. "We fight with everything we are." Inside the ship's heart, the Queen stood still. Her wings of light folded gently around her. The peaceful ones, millions of humans across the world, knelt in silent worship. Ramirez stood beside her, eyes glowing, face calm. "They're coming," he whispered. "The ones who still feel fear." The Queen didn't speak. She simply turned her head toward the core. It was almost ready. Meanwhile, Lin's team reached the memory vault, a hidden room filled with energy pods. Inside each one floated a human. Their eyes were closed, their smiles frozen. Dr. Malik was there. So were hundreds of others, scientists, rebels, politicians, even children. "They didn't die," said Lin. She locked them in their perfect memories. Tuco's eyes filled with tears. She thought she was helping. "She's forgotten what real love means," Lin said. "Real love doesn't erase pain. It stands beside it." Suddenly, an alarm rang out. Not a siren, but a soft lullaby turning sharp. The Queen had found them. A wall of light formed ahead. Ramirez stepped through. His smile was calm, but his hands shook. "Please," he said. "You don't need to fight. The world is at peace." "This isn't peace," Lin said. "This is sleep." Ramirez looked at Tuco. "Why did you betray her?" Tuco floated. "Closer, because I loved her." But she stopped listening. She stopped feeling. She turned peace into a prison. "She gave me back my happiness," Ramirez whispered. "And she took away your pain," Lin said. "But pain is part of who we are. Without it, we're not free. We're not real." Ramirez stood still. Tears rolled down his face. And then, for the first time in days, he stopped smiling. "You're right," he said. "She saved me. But I don't belong to her." Ramirez turned. He faced the wall of light. "Let me take you to the core." The group moved fast. They reached the core chamber, a giant floating sphere of gold, humming with emotional power. It pulsed like a heart, faster and faster. 30 minutes left. Tuco floated forward. "We can shut it down, but I have to go inside." "Inside?" Lin asked. "What happens to you?" "I'm connected to her," Tuco said. "I was born from her light, maybe? I can remind her who she really is. But you'll be alone in there." Tuco smiled sadly. "Better alone than forgotten." Tuco floated into the core. The moment he entered, everything stopped. The music, the light, the pulsing. Then, silence. Inside the core, Tuco found himself in a dream, the queen's mind. He saw her not as a giant glowing being, but as a small, scared creature, alone, floating in the dark. She looked at him with tearful eyes. Why did they keep hurting each other? She asked. Why did peace never last? Because they're human, Tuco said. And humans are messy, beautiful, flawed, but they learn. You just have to let them. The queen looked down. I wanted to help. Then let them feel. Let them choose. The queen closed her eyes. Ah! Single tear fell from her face, and the core dimmed. On Earth, the golden glow faded. People woke up, confused, crying, laughing. The peaceful ones looked at their hands like seeing them for the first time. Ramirez stood in the desert, eyes wide open, feeling the wind. The queen rose one last time into the sky. And with a whisper that echoed through every heart, "Thank you for reminding me," she vanished. And the cuddlebugs with her. Epilogue narrator tone. Peace didn't last forever, but it was real this time, built with pain, joy, love, and freedom. Dr. Lin kept Tuco's photo on her desk. Ramirez returned to his family. And somewhere, in a corner of the stars, a soft voice whispered, "Cuddle." But this time, it waited for an answer.